Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us at this Your Overseas Home webinar. My name's Hannah Armstrong, and I'm going to be taking us through the session today. Today's session, we will be discussing the golden three experts that we recommend you have on side to help you safely buy a property in Spain. It's great to have you all with us today. Thank you for joining us. Whether you're catching up with us on demand or you are watching us live today, we're delighted to be able to help you realise your dream of owning a property in the wonderful Spain. Now, today's session will last about 40 to 45 minutes. And for those of you who are listening in live, there's lots of opportunity to put your questions to our panel of speakers today. If you do want to ask anything, just pop those questions in on the questions section of your screen. Just type them in and we will answer as many of those as we can for you. If you do need a reminder of anything that we discussed today, or you want to share this session with family or friends, a replay will be available on the Your Overseas Home website, and we'll send you a link to that after the session. So onto our panel today. I'm delighted to be joined by our golden three trusted partners that we work with, helping our customers purchase properties in Spain. First up, you will hear from Paul Harris of Smart Currency Exchange, who are the headline sponsors of today's webinar as well. Now, Paul's been working within foreign exchange for 10 years now. He's based in the UK along with his team, and he works with customers up and down the country, making sure that you're safely moving your money out to Spain. We'll also hear from Shirin from the Spanish estate agent. Now, Shirin's got really in-depth knowledge of the real estate market, particularly down on the Costa del Sol. She's travelled extensively and worked in many different countries, has many different languages, so she's really well placed dealing with expats who want to relocate to Spain. And lastly, we have two colleagues today with us from JLCA Solicitors. We will hear from Emma and Christina today. They've both worked for the company for a long time, and they are specialists in the Spanish market, dealing with all matters of property purchase and also looking at things like immigration and visa applications and things like that. So lots of expertise on the panel today. Now, enough chat from me today, and I would like to hand over to our first speaker, Paul. And Paul, I'd love it if you could start by just giving us a bit of background into Smart Currency Exchange and how you can help today's viewers and listeners.
Great, thanks, Hannah, and good evening, everyone. So yes, Smart Currency, as Hannah said, our main aim is to move your funds from, if you're based in the UK, into Spain. The safest and most secure way as possible, but most importantly as well for yourselves is keeping the costs as low as possible for you. So a little bit about the company. So we've been around for over 16 years now, and we've helped over 40,000 people in exactly the same position achieve and buy a property over in Europe primarily for our customers. So yeah, we value the sort of service that we offer for yourselves, and because we've helped so many people in the same situation, we can often give you some pointers and tips, and if not, obviously point in the direction of the other speakers that are here today.
Thanks, Paul. That's great. Can you tell us about the sort of different services and the kind of key main offers and services that you can share with our customers?
Sure. So we try and offer as all-round service as we possibly can. So as we said, we've got a great partner network that, if there's any questions we can't answer on the buying journey, we'll obviously point you in their direction. But most importantly, obviously for us are the currency services that we provide. So as I mentioned earlier, we try and keep the costs as low as possible for you. So we will always be working off of the live exchange rate, but the sooner we work with you, the better the service that we can offer, because we can look at different timings, and it opens the sort of portfolio of products that we can offer for you as well. So if you've done some research already, or if you've already spoken to us, you may have heard of spot and forward contracts. There are two sort of mainstay products that we offer. There are some significant differences between the two. So a spot contract is, for example, you wanted to make a quick transaction today. We give us a call or go on our online platform, arrange the transfer. So let us know how much you're looking to transfer. We let you know the exchange rate and how much that's going to achieve. So you send the money straight to us, and we get the money into Spain the same or next working day. So really quick transaction for you, and we can obviously make that take the stress of any time lags out of that for you. For clients who are buying a property, the most popular product that we actually offer is a forward contract. So a forward contract works slightly differently. So if you, for example, you're on a viewing trip now, or you found a property that you've agreed a price on, that price you've agreed is going to be in euros. So your price is going to be fixed in euros. But what's always going to be changing, say, for example, you're a UK national and you have your money in pound sterling, euro budget is set, but the pound sterling and amount that it's going to cost you is going to be constantly changing and fluctuating based on the exchange rates. So what we can do is we can look to try and time a good point for you and book it as a forward contract. So say, for example, you had agreed a price today, you fix your price in euros and you're happy with the exchange rate today. We can fix that exchange rate for you, but you don't actually have to pay for up to 12 months, depending on the time between when you agree the price and the actual completion date. So it gives you peace of mind that you know how much it's costing you in euros and how much it's costing you in sterling as well. It's really popular. It just takes one extra stress out of the situation for you, and we manage it from there for you. The only difference there is obviously spot contract, you pay for the whole thing up front. Forward contract, we take between a 5 and 10% deposit just to secure your rate, and then on completion date, we take the remaining balance basically. So there's no fee or additional cost to a forward contract. There are a couple of other options that we have for you, and they're orders. So exactly the same scenario. If you've agreed to price today, but the exchange rate isn't quite where you want it to be, we can put an order into the market for you. So we have an order to buy and an order to call. So an order to buy works very simply. You tell us what the exchange rate you want to be trading at is. We put the fix into the market for you, and as soon as that exchange rate is achievable, we'll buy the currency for you. So we'll be holding your, say, same example, pound sterling. As soon as the rate is achievable, we'll book the transfer and transfer it for you. Order to call, slightly different. As soon as the rate's achievable, we'll call you, and then we can obviously discuss your options at that point. The most important thing to let you know about orders, though, is we can't guarantee it. So we can aim for any exchange rate that we want. We'll obviously guide you if you're looking at an exchange rate that isn't achievable or we don't believe is achievable. But yeah, we can't guarantee it, but we'll always try and give you sort of a realistic target. So at the moment we're around the 120 mark. If you're looking for 130, we'd probably advise you that that's not that's not going to be achievable, and to look around the sort of range that we're in at the moment. But yeah, certainly we can target those, but it does come with additional risk if we can't achieve that exchange rate.
That's brilliant, Paul. Thank you so much. That's a really helpful overview there. I guess an important question to ask you now on behalf of the viewers today is how early should the customers be thinking about currency? You know, when should they be getting in contact with you and your team? Maybe when should they be thinking about those forward contracts? What's the sort of timelines?
Well, as I said, we want to speak to you as early as possible. It gives us much better opportunity to really assist you and really help you with the timings. So it may not be something you've actually thought about the mechanisms of, but if you're speaking to an agent, if you're doing a search online, you'll be looking at types of properties and areas, etc. But you'll also have a price point on that. So you'll be subconsciously thinking about the actual currency transaction before you've even thought about the mechanisms and how you're going to transfer it. So right at the early stages, we can help you understand if your budget is realistic, or if you need a bit of movement in the market to actually be able to achieve and afford the properties that you're looking at. So we can be a real asset right from the early stages.
Thanks, Paul. That's great to understand. A couple of questions have come in from the audience there about the forward contracts that you mentioned. So first question is, if the rate moves in the customer's favour, so they've booked a forward contract, but actually later down the line, they could have got a better rate. Can you help them out? Would they still benefit at the better rate?
So no, short answer. The forward contract works in a way, in the sense that we fix it at that price. And we don't benefit as a company if it drops or if it rises. The reason we can guarantee the exchange rate is we actually book a contract on that day and buy all the currency for you. So we're actually holding the amount of euros that we've agreed with you. So we pre-bought them ahead of time. So when the date completes, we just do the swap at that point. So unfortunately, no, if the rates do go up, you don't benefit from that. But ultimately, obviously, you've got the other side of it, where if the rates decline, you have benefits from the higher exchange rate. So it is one of those. It's a commonly asked question, but the reason we book the forwards is it takes all that risk out of it for you. So if if you genuinely believe the rates are going to go up, which obviously I'm not here to say they're not going to, we have seen a good rise over the last couple of weeks. Forward contract may be something you want to discuss with a trader, and maybe only book part of the contract on a forward contract, and then maybe hold on to some to have that sort of additional maybe gamble on the rates going up at a future date. That's again something that we can talk about. But yeah, if you have fixed a rate, that rate is solid and it doesn't change.
Thank you for clarifying that. Another question about the deposits on the forward contracts. What happens if, in the unfortunate circumstance that a customer's purchase falls through, or they have to abort their purchase for some reason? What happens to their deposit in that circumstance?
So we would always work very closely with someone who needed to cancel a contract. So obviously, if the rates were to move in against the contract, and we are completely cancelling it, and not going to be using the funds at all, there may be a loss on the deposit. The loss would come out, or the difference would come out of the deposit amount. It's rare that we would charge that. We would always look to extend a contract for a client rather than actually fully cancel it. Obviously, if your plans have completely cancelled, you're no longer buying at all, we can obviously cancel that and work with you to make sure that there are no costs at all. But if you're still looking, say a property just falls through for whatever reason, but you're still really actively looking to buy, we can extend contracts and work very closely with you on that. So that is happening. It's happened quite a lot over my time in currency over the last 10 years. I've seen it happen many times. And we can always work very closely with you on that. And there'll be various different reasons why we'd extend.
That's really reassuring to know. Thank you, Paul. A customer has asked, what do your services cost, in particular the forward contracts?
We don't charge a fee, so there's no additional costs. So there's no, we won't offer you an exchange rate and say, okay, on top of this, there is an X amount on top as a fee. We make our money in the exchange rates. We're completely transparent with that. We're obviously making money somewhere, so we don't charge a fee. We work exactly the same way other brokers work and banks will work. We buy the currency very close to the market price that you see online. The rate that we offer for yourself is always slightly below that, so we make the money between the two. So we don't charge you a direct fee at all. But whenever you're booking a contract, the trader will be completely clear of this is where the market price is. This is what price I can offer for yourself. So there's not going to be anything hidden from you at all.
Thank you, Paul. I hope that answers the questions for the viewers who asked that. And we've had a really good question in from David, who's asked, why use a currency company like Smart? Why not just open a Spanish bank account and transfer using his bank, or perhaps one of the payment platforms? I know some customers have mentioned things like Revolut and things. Why work with Smart as opposed to those other options?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. If I could probably piece the bank and things like providers like Revolut together, really. And ultimately, against a bank, yes, we're going to be a better exchange rate for you. That's why companies like us exist. But looking at the bank and Revolut together, is you won't be speaking necessarily to an expert. So if you go into a bank and you say, I want to transfer X amount of money to Spain, the cashier you speak to might understand FX. They might have some expertise in it, but it's rare that they will understand it as much as someone as much as your account manager would understand it for you. They can obviously look at timing for you as well and look at working with exchange rates. Whereas someone in the bank will just have a price on a screen and that's how you go. Companies like Revolut, TransferWise, it's all an online platform. If you're looking to buy a property, it's going to be a significant amount of money. If you're comfortable and confident in understanding the exchange rates and happy to put that through an online platform, then they can be good providers for you. They don't offer forward contracts, and it would all be on spot contracts. But yeah, again, you're not getting the service that we can offer for you, so we can really sort of hold your hand through the process, make sure that the back office team are making sure the money gets to where it needs to go. So you have a whole team working with you to making sure that everything's secure and obviously giving you full peace of mind.
Brilliant. That's really reassuring. Thank you so much, Paul. Another question, sort of a little bit along those lines, I suppose, is a customer's asked, how do they know that their money is safe with Smart when they transfer you that 10% deposit, or, a large sum for their spot contract, something like that? How do they know that they're going to see it in euros at the other end?
Yeah, I mean, it's again a question we get asked regularly. So When you send money to us, it doesn't go into a smart currency account. It goes to a client holding account in the client's name, basically. So it's completely safeguarded. We bank with mainly with Barclays and the Bank of Ireland. You would have a client holding account there. The funds would come in and they'd be held in that account. So if anything was to happen to Smart while we were holding the funds, which is incredibly unlikely, the funds would be returned in full back to the account that we'd received the funds from.
That's brilliant. That's great to know. Thank you. I hope that's put everyone's mind at ease. I think we've got time for sort of one last question, Paul, for now. We've obviously talked about sterling there, and a lot of our customers listening today are based in the UK, so it would be a sterling euro transaction. But can I just check that you can support customers who are based elsewhere? We've got some US customers, some Australian customers as well. Can you help them?
Yeah, we can. All major currencies absolutely fine. There are a few currencies that we have some restrictions on, but it's very rare. If you're living in Australia, anywhere in Europe, a major country is fine. We don't have any issues with that.
Brilliant. That's wonderful to hear. Thank you so much, Paul. That's been a really wonderful introduction. I'm conscious of our time today, so I do want to move on, but I will share Paul's details on screen at the end of the presentation, because I know there's a couple of questions there that we haven't had time to get back to. And I know that people will want to discuss their personal circumstances with Paul and the team. So we'll share all of those details along with all of the speakers at the end of the presentation. So thank you very much, Paul. Now I will move on to our second of our Golden 3 partners now, Shirin from the Spanish Estate Agency. All the way from wonderful Costa del Sol. Shirin, it's great to have you with us again. Shirin's been a partner of ours for a long time now, so wonderful to have you talking to our customers today. I'd love it if you could start by giving us a little bit of background into the Spanish Estate Agent and how you work with clients and how you can help our viewers.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Hannah. My name is Shirin Sharifi. I've been working in real estate on the Costa del Sol for 23 odd years, maybe a bit more. I'm sales director for the Spanish Estate Agent. We are a company that have been functioning down here for a few years now, since around 2015. And we have a very big office in Estepona. However, we do, all my sales guys do cover the whole coast from Malaga to Gibraltar. We are part of a much larger company with around 17 offices in southwest France. So we do have a big machine or marketing machine and a big operation behind us. So how we work, we are all very experienced salespeople. We are not just salespeople, we are property finders almost. We work very differently to the way it works in the UK, in that because of our experience, people like to explain to us what it is they're looking for. They like working with us. We're not just somebody working from their front room or their living room with a laptop. We genuinely we're a properly registered company and all had the proper training and so on. But we listen to what it is that clients are looking for. Very importantly, we listen, and we have access to absolutely every single property that is out there for sale on the market. So we can really research and get a selection of properties for clients to consider. We network with other agents basically, but it's a really nice way of working because the clients are just talking to one agent. They're really expressing what they want. They feel like they're being listened to, and we can learn a lot about the client and really not waste their time. We spend a lot of time with the clients themselves. At the moment, obviously travel restrictions, so on and so forth, we've been really, really busy doing a lot of remote viewings. So that's a possibility that we are offering clients. We produce videos. A lot of the properties now have 3D walkthrough plans. We have lots of great material to show clients whether they want to buy remotely or whether they just want to do lots of homework before they come and are able to visit finally. When clients are in the country, by the time they've come over, we've selected the properties they want to see, we've selected the area they want to be in, sometimes they don't know which area they want to be in, but of course part of our job is to act as a tour guide almost, and show you all the different areas, all the little areas that you would never find on your own, and have just pass on that local knowledge, which I think is quite valuable. But what it means is that your time is used very, very efficiently, and that we've had all the appointments made already. We have a little bit of background on each property, and we are very knowledgeable on each property, and we drive you from each appointment. So yeah, that means your time is used very efficiently, and we offer everything post sale as well, all the way through, whether you need builders, whether you need babysitters, whether you need cleaners, whether you need anything at all, a driver for the airport. So we offer the whole scenario. I mean, I'm in contact with clients I sold to years ago, and we're still in touch. We still have conversations, and many of my clients come back to me to sell or to move on to bigger or smaller properties. And yeah, I'm very proud of the experience and the years of experience that I've had in the real estate business. So yeah, it's you're dealing with somebody that's recommended, and isn't, as I say, just somebody you can't tell who they are by searching on the web, because you never can. So yeah, that's how we work.
Brilliant. Thank you. That's a wonderful overview. I mean, you mentioned there, about that sort of property finder service, and it is really comprehensive what you do offer. Do the clients have to pay any fees to you, or does it work in a sort of similar system? The vendor effectively covers the cost when you sell a property.
Yeah, it's a second home market. So yeah, of course, we people think that there's a fee to pay because of the knowledge and so on. And I've been told many times, wow, you could really charge for this. Not so much the actual real estate side, but that local knowledge and really giving that, passing that to the clients. But we don't charge for it at all. We are paid by the vendors, absolutely, 100%. It doesn't cost the clients a penny.
That's great. That's brilliant. Thank you for clarifying that. Now, obviously, you mentioned about your local knowledge, and I know we could talk for hours on this topic, but do you have any kind of advice, just really, really quickly, of sort of key areas on the Costa del Sol that customers should be thinking about? Where's sort of the hottest new areas, or any kind of strong recommendations that you've got that people should consider?
I think that the most important part of what we do is to really listen to clients, and I really keep banging on about that, I know, but I think I get a lot of complaints from clients saying that they don't feel they're being listened to by other agents and so on, and they're being driven to places they don't want to be, and they're being pushed into something they don't want, and that's horrendous for us to hear. So having years of experience doing exhibitions as well, sitting down with somebody in a different country and really expressing the benefits of the different areas, I'm very happy to normally talk through what each area has to offer clients. For example, if you don't want to have a car, if you want to be able to use public transport, the areas, for example, from Malaga to Fuengirola are perfect, because there's a train line, there's a great bus service. You don't particularly need a car. It is more built up and so on, but it offers that lifestyle to clients. If you're happy to have a car, that opens up the areas massively, and you move into areas like Mijas Costa and Marbella itself, obviously, where the prices probably peak. But the hot areas, if you're asking me about hot areas, I would say it's probably Estepona. Benahavís is incredibly popular at the moment. It's super green. It's really great quality. It's you don't get the high rises, and it's proving very popular. Estepona offers fantastic value for money, and obviously moving on to places like La Duquesa, Manilva, and so on, again offering even better value for money. The advantage of that is that they're the last places where construction was happening during the last boom, and so everything is much low rise. There's a lot more green areas allocated to each development. And yeah, it's proving really, really popular at the moment. In that sense, we obviously go inland as well. It's not just the 2-bed, 2-bathroom apartments we sell on the coast. We sell farms, we sell olive groves, we sell old properties inland. We sell villas, all types of properties. So it's not just that holiday second. In fact, we have so many people applying for residency at the moment, which I'm sure we'll go into later.
Brilliant. Thanks, Shireen. You mentioned there about old properties, actually, and I wanted to come to this later, but I'll ask you now whilst we're on the topic. I know you yourself have had quite a bit of experience with kind of renovations and redevelopments and things like that. How easy is that to do, particularly, as a British buyer with the sort of language barrier and things like that? How easy would it be if a customer wanted to renovate a property? Is that something you can help with or give anybody a steer on?
100%. I'm renovating my own house at the moment, but it's something I do. I project manage renovation work for clients all the time. And if I don't do it myself, then I have teams of people that will take it on straight after me. I have teams, the renovation work, we have English builders. Most of the builders speak perfect English anyway. We have builders from South Americans, all sorts. So it really doesn't matter. We have teams of people that whoever the client feels more comfortable dealing with. So we'll normally get 3 quotes for different works done, and that's whether it's building work or whether it's interior design. We have different teams of people do that, or if it's the whole management of the property afterwards. Obviously, if you have a villa and you're not there to water your grass, or you haven't got the maintenance side of things, we've got people that will take over completely. Yeah.
Great. And actually on that as well, can you help customers who might be buying it as a second home themselves, but they also wanted to rent it out? Do you do any property rental management, things like that?
We don't do direct rentals ourselves, but we do have, again, loads of companies absolutely desperate to take up clients' properties for rental. We've got a massive shortage of rental properties at the moment. The figures, you won't believe the figures that we're talking about in terms of rental villas at the moment. But yeah, more and more people. I have a client that bought a big villa and it's in construction at the moment, and he's coming out with his family to show them around the area. He naughtily bought the property without his family seeing it, so he wants to wow them. And he told me, I've got 4 children, they're in their teens, and I know what they're like. They'll go out, and I don't want to have that COVID fear, staying in a hotel, finding a property to rent, and I am doing that for him. If a client buys from us and wants to rent it out, yes, absolutely, we'll help them with that as well. But rental figures at the moment are through the roof.
I mean, it's great to know that the market is so positive. That's fantastic. And in terms of the sort of purchasing market as well, is that still booming at the moment? Any sort of insights as to what's happening at the moment?
Yeah, when we first, all that time ago when COVID first hit, I think for the first 2 weeks we were all suicidal, thinking it was just the worst thing that has ever happened. In fact, soon after, we started realizing that we just had to work in a different way. And we've enjoyed 2 incredibly profitable years. We've had so many people decide that it's been the breaking point for them to make that decision to make the move. We've had so many people, again, rather than staying in hotels, wanting to buy a holiday home. We've had so many people fed up with everything that's going on in the UK, specifically wanting to make the move. But also we don't rely on the English market. You mentioned languages beforehand. I speak 5 languages myself. I have another guy that speaks 5 languages. We speak, whether it's Middle Eastern, European, we have somebody to take care of all our clients. And we have a very, very strong Scandinavian market, Dutch market, German market always has been. The Belgians are buying everything. So it's a very, very healthy market at the moment, but we're not just relying on the UK market. So yeah, bizarrely enough, we have Canadian clients, America, they're coming from all over.
Well, it's great to know. Yeah, it's great to know you're busy.
One of the most desirable places and safest places to live. So that's
fantastic. Now, I know this is a big topic at the moment in terms of the changes to the transfer taxes when buying property. I'd love to just understand that sort of whole picture of what other costs a customer can expect when buying a property and kind of what these changes are that are happening at the moment.
So the question, the information, one of the big bits of information I always have to give clients is what the buying costs are, as well as the sales price itself. And we've always worked off the figure of around, you add on 12% and so on, depending whether it's a resale property or a new property. A resale property is a property you're buying directly from a vendor, not from a developer. It may be a new property, but it's not from a developer. It's a second owned property, and I'm sure our learned lawyers will explain a bit better. But a second-hand property, the transfer tax on the second-hand property used to be 8%, 9%, and 10% on a sliding scale, depending on the value of the property. That's been scrapped completely, and it's across the board 7% in Andalusia at the moment, and that's been reduced last year. They've now rolled it on into this year, which is great news because it's huge savings for a lot of people. That's the transfer tax on a second-hand property. When you're buying a new property, there is no transfer tax, and I'm sure, ladies, you can correct me later on, but there's no transfer tax. It is a 10% VAT. On top of that, there is a 1.2% stamp duty. Previously, it was 1.5%. So Andalusia is trying to be one of the most tax-efficient states in Spain, competing with Madrid as much as possible, so to attract and it's working really well because people are really saving a lot at the moment. So that's the difference there. And then you'll have, again, Christine and Emma can explain better than me, you'll have notary costs, you'll have land registry, legal fees, and so on. And we can work that out for you on each property specifically. But for us at the moment in Andalusia, for a second-hand property, I would calculate on top of the sales price a total of around 9 to 10%, and on a new property, obviously you're adding that 3% on.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Shirin. That's really, really helpful, and good to know that those prices are coming down slightly, which is great. I'm really conscious of our time today, so I am going to move on so we can talk to Christina and Emma, but there are loads of you with questions for Shirin and her team. So as I say, we'll make sure we get those details out to you, and you can talk directly about your circumstances and get yourself out there and get that dream home. So Christina and Emma, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Now, as Shirin mentioned, you are obviously our legal experts today, and the sort of third in our golden three of the people that you want on your side when you're purchasing your property. So ladies, can I ask you to start by just giving us a little bit of background into the business and how you work with your clients?
Okay, well, basically, we are a Spanish legal firm, and JLCA Lawyers has been operating for over 20 years. Now, our main office is based in Alicante, which is where I work, and most of our lawyers are based there as well. We also have an office in the UK, in London, which is where Christina works, and also an office in Miami, where we have a small team over there. Sort of echoing what Shirin has said, we've finding that we're dealing with a lot of clients, not just British clients, but from other nations as well. And because of that, there's people like myself, native in other countries. So we have Scandinavians working in our office, Germans, Belgian, French, Russian. So we've always got that. It's not just about the language, it's the culture as well, so that we're able to not just translate information, but interpret it in a way that customers can understand and relate to better. And this is very much the way that we like to work. In terms of the lawyers themselves, all of our lawyers, as I said, are Spanish. They're Spanish qualified with the bar associations in Spain. One of the big differences with JLCA Lawyers is our senior partner is actually registered with the SRA, the Solicitors Regulation Authority in the UK. He's been regulated as a registered European lawyer since 2009, and that's now translated to European foreign lawyer following Brexit. So you can be confident that we do actually have come back, that you can check on us in the UK, as well as with the bar associations here in Spain, and feel a lot safer about the information and the professionals that you're dealing with in that respect.
Wonderful. That's a great overview. Thank you so much. And yeah, really reassuring. That's what we always say about these golden three. You know, it's really trusted experts, and we would only ever recommend businesses, you know, that we really trust to work with us. So thank you for that. Now, I wanted to talk, and Shirin mentioned it there in her presentation, about the sort of process. So, you know, once you found the beautiful property that you want to buy, you've made your offer's been accepted. Can you just talk us quickly through sort of what happens next? You know, contract wise, do you need to engage notaries, you know, land registry, things like that? Just a sort of a bit of an overview of kind of what that process might be and how long it might take.
Okay, with respect to the process, generalizing, you would start off with your estate agent, and you found the property that you're interested in, and you're going to be looking at making a deposit, holding deposit, and maybe a basic contract based around that. This is then going to be moving towards the private purchase contract. Now, this is incredibly important to get right, because in this, you are going to fix all of the terms for the actual, that will be binding at notary, the price, the conditions, and these can't be changed very easily once you've got them fixed in the contract. As lawyers, we would normally like to be involved from this point, because we'll then be liaising with the estate agents, with the developer, depending, or with the seller, depending on the situation, to check that everything is in order, to make sure that the names are registered correctly as they should be to be sold, what type of land it is, what you are and are not able to do on that land, and also if there's any infractions against the property, whether that be encumbrances or debts with the town hall. So we like to check all of these things beforehand, as well as that it's correctly licensed to be sold on for the use that it's expected to be used for. If for any reason there's something not quite right or hasn't been finished, which, you know, sometimes if you've got a new property that hasn't got a habitation certificate yet, well, we would write that into the private purchase contract as a requirement to make sure if there's any problems, then the client has always got the ability to pull out if they need to. All of this being said, once you've gone past this and you reach your final signing date, the notary and registry we would also organise. You can either attend in person and sign yourself in person, or what we would normally do is arrange a power of attorney sufficient that we can do it on your behalf. It depends on what the client prefers. There are some differences now. A couple of years ago there was a change, so with regards to mortgages. So if somebody has a Spanish mortgage, it is now a requirement to have 2 notary dates, because you actually attend a notary firstly to ratify and confirm your understanding of the mortgage that you're taking on, and then a couple of weeks later you have the actual signing, which includes the mortgage for your purpose, for your purchase. Once you've done all of that, once you've done all of that, then we will take the notarized deed to be registered, and once that's been registered, then you will have the deed for yourself to obviously keep hold of. Once all of this has been done, then you're able to change the name of all of the utilities into your name again, which we help with, set up all your direct debits so that everything is all smooth and ready to start enjoying your property, whether that's to live there permanently or as a holiday home.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you. That was a great whistle-stop tour there, Emma. Thank you. And just really quickly, how long typically, I know how long it's a piece of string, but typically how long can you expect that process to take from sort of finding the property to kind of, you know, keys in hand, wheeling the suitcase through the door?
I mean, it will depend. I mean, it will depend on the kind of the property, the situation of the property and everything, how say Emma. But we could say maybe could take a few weeks or maybe a few months, but everything will depend on the license, of the status of the property and everything.
Great, thank you. Now, I'd love to really quickly, just in the last couple of minutes, talk very briefly about residency for Spain. We have other webinars where we've gone into this in a lot more detail for customers. So I won't go into too much detail, and we can refer you to those other sessions or refer you onto the partners if you need. But I just wanted to ask a couple of quick things. There's no issues about buying a property before you've secured your residency. You don't have to have the residency first or anything like that. Can I just check that with you?
Absolutely no requirement for residency. You can buy a property as a non-resident exactly the same as before. Brexit doesn't change anything. You could buy as an American, as a Canadian beforehand. This is just putting us in a different bracket.
The only point will be the golden visa. I mean, nothing happens if you are or not resident, but obviously the process will be different with the golden visa, because you have to demonstrate that you you have the investment in Spain. So we have to buy the property first.
Understand that. Thank you. And typically a residency application, do customers apply from the UK or do they have to be in Spain to do that application?
The non-lucrative or non-profit residency the first application has to be done from the UK, from either of the 3 Spanish consulates. Christina actually works very close with them, being in London. She's very close to the main one in London, but also in Manchester and in Edinburgh. But yes, the first one, your renewals will then be done from Spain. With a golden visa, you have the option, you can do either or, but you have to be mindful of your 90 and 180 days before becoming resident if you choose to do it in Spain.
Great. And my last quick question on this one, typically how long could you expect one of those non-lucrative visa processes to take, from that initial application in one of the UK consulates?
I mean, depends on the backlog of the consulate, to be fair. But normally it takes maybe 1 or 2 months to have all the documentation ready, because we have to legalize, translate, and make sure that everything is clear and ready. But obviously it will depend at least of the lack of the consulate. But normally now it takes around 1 to 3 weeks to have a positive response. So at least maybe 2 or 3 months to have your non-lucrative visa ready.
Great. That's really helpful. Thank you so much. Ladies, we're going to have to wrap up the session there for today. We could talk, I'm sure, for hours on all of these topics. It's really exciting and really interesting. So thank you all for your really valuable insights today. As I mentioned at the beginning, we will send an email out to you all with all of the contact information and direct links to speak to all of our experts today. We've only scratched the surface of the topic today, but we always stress that, everyone's circumstances are different. So do get in touch with all of our wonderful panelists today to talk about your circumstances and your particular questions, and they really are our trusted experts, so they will certainly be able to support you and answer those queries. So thank you again to everybody who participated. Thank you to all of our viewers for joining us today. We really wish you a very, very successful move over to Spain. And the last thing to say is we're just going to pop a link on the screen now for you, and this takes you through to our upcoming sessions. If there's any future sessions that you want to have a look at, and also on our website there, we do have the details of previous sessions that we've run where you can watch catch-ups and recordings. And we've worked with all of the presenters on the session today before, where they've gone into detail a bit more about the topics that they cover. So do take a look at our site and do join us again for something in the future. But best of luck with your move to Spain. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.